Hey guys! Welcome back
Yay!
to ETC.
Yay! I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy you're here,
I'm
Hannah.
happy you're here.
Stop it.
I always get so excited when, we have like our date set to like record and Mia texts me and she's like, I'm on my way. And I'm like, yay! Girl time.
Girl time. You can just yap and,
I love
make
yapping.
a thing out of it.
I love yapping.
No, same.
And we have a platform to do
That's
it.
what I was just about to say. We found the perfect little, oh, yeah.
I do feel like it's helped me yap less in my actual life.
Really?
Because I have an outlet.
I feel like I yap more. I feel like it just got me in the groove. I'm like, all right, yeah, then I'm done. It's like when you the snowball effect, I'm just
Yes.
constant. That's
oh my gosh.
funny.
I've gotten so many people texting me about our ick episode.
Bro.
And how much they loved it.
That was so funny.
Literally, Maddie was live texting me as she was listening to
That's
it.
my favorite. That's my favorite.
Because I called her out on a couple of things. And she was like, I do not need Google Maps to get to Chipotle, Hannah. And I'm just cracking up. And then she's like, and then she literally texted me. It was random out of the blue. I plugged my nose with Ica in the water. And I was like, oopsies.
We had a lot of prefaces that episode. You weren't allowed to be offended.
No, you're not. It was just so funny.
No,
but then
really funny.
I think it made it better because at the end she was like, oh yeah, you do all of those icks that you listed. I was like, I really do.
I
was like, gotta make fun of yourself.
We're guilty ourselves.
It was so funny.
That's hilarious.
And then my mom texted me too, randomly out of the blue. Every pot has a lid. Listen, she thought that was so funny. I can't take credit for it. I got that from Inside Out too.
I was just about to say, that was so clever. I haven't seen Inside Out 2 yet. When he said that, I was like, okay, what a bar.
I wanted people to think that I was clever.
Coming out the truth now.
Joy says that in Inside Out too. She goes, well, every pot has a lid. And I'm like, I'm literally stealing that.
No, I steal things all the time.
That's so
TV
funny.
shows, I'm like, I'm going to memorize that. That's so funny. I got to use it. Having a list.
But I'm really glad that people seem to get a good laugh.
Yeah.
As
a shed is what it was for.
I
had a good laugh. So.
I love just a good, funny episode, man.
I agree.
It's so much fun. And I'm actually really excited for this episode.
Yeah.
It's a good in-between. It can be something super serious, but I love it because it's super practical.
Yeah. Right.
And I hope that people will get something from this and be able to apply it. Ironically enough, I hope people feel motivated after this episode.
So true.
Because this is a topic that I have had the conversation of so many times, but jumping a little bit ahead, we got to do our high and low tides. We have to.
Okay, I'm going to do...
High first?
Okay.
Yeah.
My high tide is actually Casting Grace this past Friday. Was it this past Friday? I was looking through pictures because I was trying to remind myself of how I've lived my life for the high tide.
Oh, really?
And I had all those digital camera pictures.
Yes, they came out so good.
They were so cute. So, Casting Grace, I don't know if I've actually talked about it that much on the podcast.
It's been mentioned a couple times, but you never explained necessarily what it is.
Yeah, so Monet and I, my dear
shout out
beloved friend Monet, we have a small group, a girls, college-age girls small group every Friday night, and we've been doing it, which is crazy, for almost a year now.
What?
I know.
A year?
I know, it's insane. Well, more than a year from when Ashley started it, but almost a year to when me and Monet took it over.
Wow. I didn't realize Ashley started it.
Yeah, and we just kind of took it over when she had to go back to college.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So...
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's actually insane. And just, I don't know, last Friday was so good. We talked about Ireland. We had, our testimonies.
It was so good.
And we had a little candy salad. It was just such a good night.
Ashley was the moderator.
Yes.
She did so good. She was so cute.
I love it. And I just, it's one of those, nights where you're just looking back and I just get my heart's so full. And then when we were posting, I was FaceTiming one day and we were posting it, we were choosing the song, I was like, my heart's so full. I just love the girl time, the cuteness.
It's so fun because I'm having one of the girls that I met at that night, and Bella, hopefully they're coming to CrossFit with me on Friday.
Saying. It's just
it's
I love,
so
and they came to pickleball on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just such a cute, I just love community, I love friendships, and I love everything.
That's awesome.
That's my high tide.
My high tide is that I officially started coaching.
Yeah.
Right, which I've talked about it, but I had not actually coached yet.
Right.
I had done some shadowing, I believe. But I've coached now 4 times.
Dude.
It's been really, really good. I feel like, I get a little bit better and learn a little bit more every time. And what's cool about it is that, every class or every day that you coach, it's so drastically different because the workout is so drastically different. So the way that you have to coach or run the class is so different.
Right.
from any other time. So it really keeps you on your toes. And I love it. And I was literally on my first day, I was just like walking, you know, up and down, like, you know, cheering people on as they're working out and everything. And I'm literally thinking in my head, I'm like, I'm so giddy right now. Like, this is something I get to actually like do
so cool.
as a job, you know? And I never thought that I would feel that way about work.
Right.
You know, and it's just been so good. I've had so many people be so kind to me and really make me feel like this is where like I belong and that I'm doing something really good. And I can't wait to, you know, learn from my mistakes and keep getting better. But it's been so exciting.
That's so, oh my gosh.
And I'm hopefully, you know, as the weeks go on, I'll start like coaching more.
Right.
I've started at like 2 classes a week and I'm already like texting my boss. I'm like, if you need to give me more classes, like just let me know. Let me know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited.
So cool. I always think, like, I love thinking about this, like, telling your past self. Like, imagine Hannah, like, first class buddy day, telling her that you'd be a coach.
No, okay, so the crazy thing about it is that the last couple classes that I've been coaching, part of our announcements is that we have buddy day this Friday, right? And so I'm telling people, I'm like, oh, don't forget, there's buddy day this Friday. It's my favorite day. Like, invite someone. You never know what could happen.
Yeah.
You could change their life because I am here because of a buddy day.
Yeah.
Because Vlad decided to invite me one time, and one time I was hooked. Yeah. And now I'm coaching a sport that I looked at it and I thought I would never do.
That's
that
insane,
and not because I didn't necessarily want to, because I never thought I would be able to. And now I'm coaching it. Like, God is so good.
Yeah.
And to see like his hand over my life in this way through this sport has just been really, really cool to see.
No, it's so cool.
And now I have like, wait, you're going Friday?
Yeah.
And then like Bella, and I think there's like 4 people that are coming. I'm so excited. I'm always that girl on buddy day. I am always
like, bringing
so many people.
I love it so much.
Because you never know, man. You never know.
It's so true.
So good.
I love it so much.
Also, when this episode drops, I'm in Bali. It's like a second high tide.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're pre-recording because I'm going to be out of town because I'm in Bali. The day that this drops, it'll be like our first actual day in Bali. After the traveling. So, y'all.
So you should be better now.
I made it.
Yeah.
God willing. I made it through.
That's so funny. Hopefully we're not listening to this and you like, we're like struggling. Like, you have this whole story behind it where it's like,
I'm gonna come back and be like, I did not.
Like, actually, guys, let's be real.
What's your low?
Backtrack. Okay.
Bring it down.
Let me do it. Actually, my low tide includes Bella, our dear friend. I know.
How can you have a low tide with Bella? She's the best person ever.
She's the best person ever. So if you guys don't know Bella, she went on the Ireland team with us. She is actually the best person ever.
Actually, my favorite person.
She's actually my favorite person. But my low tide is when we were thrifting.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
She found the shirt that I loved. It was like, I love funny little shirts.
They're so funny.
I think they're so goofy. But there's the shirt. It had it had like a galaxy print, which already a win. And then it had fidget spinners on it, double win. And then it had cats riding the fidget spinners
in space.
In space, bro. I literally have never loved a shirt so much.
I know, the moment you saw it, I knew you wanted it.
And she was like, I'm gonna get it. I was like, okay, girl, you found it first. I love that for you. And so I think she gets it because she was like, oh, if I don't want it, I'll give it to you to buy. And I was like, lit. And then I found out Sunday, I was like showing people the shirt. That's how much I loved it. It wasn't even my shirt, but I was showing it off. And then, because I took a picture of it. And then I was like, yeah, but Bella found it first. I'm really sad, but she found it. She was like, oh, I didn't even buy it.
I didn't know that.
She was so kind. She's like, I thought you knew. She's like, I literally left it for you. And I was like, oh my gosh. So again, she's still my favorite person ever, but that was my low tide. Is that I don't have
spinner shirt.
I know. She's like, I didn't even buy it.
And it would have worked for Tonight for Youth too, because it's mostly black.
Yeah, so I'm still mourning over this cat fidget spinner shirt. Not enough where I would like actually go back and like look for it.
I was gonna say like it's probably still there.
I don't know. That's a hot commodity. No, but yeah. So.
Oh man.
Shout out Bella. I still love you.
Oh, my low tide is much more serious. But it works because it flows right into the topic of today's episode.
Which I love when that happens.
Which is what, like, again, a topic that I'm very, very passionate about. But my low tide, man, is that I have just been, talking about how much, coaching has been great and everything. But on the flip side, I have been so unmotivated in the gym, like this last, 2 weeks. Mostly last week, it was because I was sick.
Yeah.
And so, getting back into the gym after traveling or after being sick, I did both, is always rough. Always rough, because you're tired. I wasn't working out when I was really sick, but, when you start to come off of it and you just have congestion and, if for anyone that doesn't, know, CrossFit is high intensity workout. So, your lungs just like, it just takes a little while for like you to fully adjust,
right?
Getting back into it. So it sucks. Like, that's just the bottom line, is that it doesn't feel good.
Right.
So it can leave you feeling really unmotivated. And then, even this week, I'm just like, the workouts have been like really tough. Maybe they have movements in it that, are weaknesses of mine, which never makes you feel quote unquote great, motivated, to go when it's like full of movements that that you're not going to be great at. And I've just been struggling, man, because it always happens to me when I get on a break, when I'm on summer, even weekends for me. I struggle to get like my 3 solid meals in a day. And the reason is because I get to sleep in later, which is awesome because I need to sleep. But then I end up drinking caffeine before I have my first meal. And caffeine is a big appetite suppressant.
Yeah.
So then I'm like wanting to eat, but I literally have no appetite. And then I'm working out and I haven't really eaten anything. And I have no fuel for the gym, right? And it's not because I don't want to eat. It's literally because my appetite, after being sick, my appetite was like next to nothing, so that didn't help either. But now it's like I need to force myself to get onto a routine. And sometimes my gym people that are listening to this know what it is, where you literally have moments sometimes where you are force feeding yourself to eat because you know that you need the fuel. And I need the fuel, and I don't like how I'm feeling during these workouts, and it's my own fault.
Dang, yeah.
So I think what I'm gonna have to do is change up my schedule a little bit when possible. I normally love working out like in the late morning, like 8:30, 9:30 a.m. But the problem is that I wake up with just enough time to get ready to go to the gym, so you don't eat breakfast, and then you work out and you have caffeine, and next thing you know, it's like 11 and you haven't eaten anything yet. So I think I have to change it to where I make myself work out in the afternoon, so when I wake up, I have breakfast and eat something. If I wake up and have breakfast before I have caffeine, my hunger cues are good. I'm set up for the rest of the day. I get hungry when I'm supposed to. My appetite is back in full swing. But it's when I wake up later and I have caffeine before I eat, totally messes me up.
Dang, yeah.
So I'm working on that. But it works because it's like I'm still showing up though, and I'm still trying to, be better about eating like my full meals and fueling my body properly. And it always goes in ebbs and flows. And I know the moment that I get back to a solid routine and I'm working, I'm going to have all my snacks, eat all my meals, everything's going to feel good. And it's just, I really, really struggle every time I'm thrown off of my routine.
Yeah.
And what I'm grateful for is that when I do start back into full-time working in about a month or so, once summer is over, is that I won't be in a job where I am thrown off with a lot of breaks. I loved that about teaching, don't get me wrong, but it's also going to be nice because it's going to always be consistent for the most part.
Right.
Obviously holidays come around, you're thrown off, but like I'm not going to have all of a sudden you're working, you're going 100 miles an hour to bam, nothing for 2 months. And it's like, it's awesome, but it's also like, I struggle not having a routine.
Right.
Like after like 5 days of sleeping in and having nothing to do, I get bored.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go back to work. I'm ready to do something.
Yeah.
Which is why I've been super grateful, even only coaching twice a week. Like it gives me something to look forward to.
Right.
And like having a job to do. But that's been my low. But it's okay, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
After we get through our mana segment about motivation versus discipline.
And I'm so excited for the mana because we were talking about...
It's so good.
So we were talking about this whole idea of motivation versus discipline. Jumping into this episode, the whole theme. In this verse, Hebrews 12:11. I'm not going to even add anything because I don't feel like it even needs
No, it doesn't.
anything.
It stands out on its own.
It's so good. It says, "So no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it."
Is that not the... Literally, first of all, Hebrews always slaps.
I'm telling you.
Oh, I can't wait to get to heaven and find out who wrote that book. World's biggest mystery, bro. Who wrote Hebrews?
Oh my gosh.
But that's such a good verse.
I'm telling you.
It's so good. Like, can you read it again? I need to experience it again.
It needs to, soak it in. Okay, ready, guys? Let me get my best reading voice. Okay, Hebrews 12:11. "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Like, guys, we overlook this. The Bible's wisdom, bro.
Dude.
Constantly.
Dude.
It just seems like, oh, that's an old book.
No,
guys,
it is living. Living.
Double-edged sword, man.
And what I love about, obviously, you know, with this topic today, I'm going to be coming at it from a more gym-like perspective.
Right.
But, you know, for you or for anybody else, and even myself, the topic of motivation versus discipline is applied to every area of your life.
So true.
Every area.
Yeah, and so when I think about it from, like, a spiritual standpoint, talking about, like, the manna, when it comes to, like, reading your Bible, or going to church, like, serving, you know, sometimes... Just like anything, like you're not like, oh my gosh, you're not motivated, like, oh, I can't wait to do this, this, and this. I can't wait to read my Bible in the mornings. I can't wait to have the devotional time. Like, no one really wants to admit that, but it's not something that, like, our flesh, especially, like, if you're constantly just, like, busy in the world, you're just thinking about your fleshly desires. You're not going to think, like, oh, wait, maybe I should spend time in the quiet, you know, with the Lord. So I think that is a big thing when it comes to having the discipline on reading your word anyway, or going to church anyway, or, you know, serving even when you don't want to, because that's what produces that harvest, you know. It's not, and I love when it says, like, trained by it, because it's not like oh, you have discipline now, like, oh, you've made a decision, you're good, but it's like it's a training process.
It's every day.
It's a continuous taking up your cross, you know. Continuous sacrifice.
And, you know, it hits hard for me because when I was teaching and, you know, I'm, like, just pouring out all the energy and everything I have into my job Monday through Friday. And, you know, Saturday I would wake up and, you know, go to the gym and everything. Sunday, man, there were so many days where I didn't go to church because I was not motivated because I wanted to sleep in.
Right.
And, you know, I had so much guilt, you know, for that. And, you know, it's not something that's worth beating yourself up over because we all go through seasons. But it's one of those things where I had to come to a moment with God where God was like, you have more discipline with the gym than you do with me. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And that's when I was like, and that's always been something that Vlad has been so good about. He is so disciplined when it comes to going to church. And there were days, and it makes me like, I get the ick from myself because I'm so, I guess, disappointed in my past self, is that there would be moments where he would go to church without me and I would just be at home. Yeah. And he would be like, he was like, I'm not going to church for you. I'll go without you. Like, I'm like, it's Sunday, we go to church.
Right.
And, you know, he's been such a leader in that way where I'm like, okay, like, you know, like, let's go and everything. And I try not to beat myself up too much because, man, I was going through a season with you know, education and being a teacher, and it really it taught me a lot, but it ended up being for a good thing, where I realized that, man, I am not disciplined enough spiritually, and I feel like it's because we don't talk about that aspect of it enough, where you do have to have discipline for it, because I think sometimes, you know, when you go to a conference, you go to a mission trip, you're so motivated, right? But then it's like, we don't talk about when life just hits and you're going through the motion and you're not feeling motivated to go because life gets busy, because other things end up taking priority. And it's like, no, you still need to have the discipline to read your word every day.
Right.
And you still need to have the discipline to go to church, and you still need to have the discipline to serve, even when you don't necessarily want to do those things.
No, it's so true. I love the way you say, like, or just we're talking about not beating yourself up about it kind of thing, because I think I've even struggled with this. Like, if I do go through, like, a rut where I haven't read my word in a while, and I'm almost like you almost just get in that, like, that guilty thing where you don't want to do it. You're just like, oh, I haven't done it in so long. Like, the Lord, like, God hates me. Like, this is horrible. You know, like, you just get into, like... The devil
works through guilt. Yeah. He really does.
And you're just almost, like, suppressed by that. And I think that's why it's so, so special that the Lord says, like, there are new mercies every morning.
Yeah,
like,
that's so good.
When you wake up, like, it doesn't matter how long that streak of not reading your Bible is. Like, read the Bible now.
Read the Bible now.
There's a new day.
Yes.
Start the new routine. I love that whole idea, because it's, you know, God reminding you, like, I know you're going to make mistakes. Like, don't, like, this is just a fact that you were going to fail. You are going to fail. Yeah. But it's the fact that you can, you know, rely on me to give you that kind of...
And it's so good because I think once you get caught in that guilt cycle, you end up avoiding it.
Right.
Because, so, and I've learned this through therapy, is like the hallmark of anxiety is avoidance. When we're anxious about something, we avoid it. And when you feel guilty about something, it can make you anxious because you're feeling guilty because you haven't done it in so long. So then what do? You end up avoiding God even more.
Thoughts, yeah.
Because you're anxious about, oh my gosh, I feel so guilty. I haven't read my word or gone to church. God's mad at me. And that makes me anxious. So you stop going to church more and you avoid it. When it's literally the opposite of the solution, right? Where you're talking about, like, we have new mercies every day. God is not holding those things over you. So why are you? And it does nothing but hold you back. Like, you putting that guilt tripping on yourself, you're the only one doing it to you. No one else is. Because and I've struggled with that too, because it's like, oh, when I go to church again, everyone's going to be like, where have you been? But when I go to church, everyone is always so welcoming, so kind, you know, like during the school year when I really like let myself slack off. But it's like, no one is holding it against you. No one is going to make you like feel guilty. And if they do, that's their problem. But like, God's certainly not. He just wants you to come and spend time with him.
No, I do want to talk about that too, because I feel like when it comes to feeling that guilt, it can be from like a place of like you thinking that what you do like affects how God feels about you. Or so like thinking about like, oh, if I haven't read my word, so God feels different. He loves me differently. And I think if you're coming from a place of that, like, oh, I have to read my Bible so that God...
That we think our faith is based on works.
Exactly. If you're falling into that, you're obviously going to feel a lot more guilty. And how much does that bound you, you know? Like, living in that, like, oh my gosh, I constantly have to earn something. Because honestly, that's what our minds go to. Because that's how all society works, right? So, but that's what's so amazing about God, is that you have that freedom that God has already loved you. Like, his love is not going to change for you. There's nothing that could separate you from that. That's what we're working out of. That's what we're reading our Bible because. Not because
you're trying to earn his approval.
But it's the whole idea too of like, God is our Father and he knows what's best for us. So he wants us to have that discipline because he knows that the harvest of righteousness and peace is going to come from that. You know, like, that's so cool, and that's what we're working out of. And I think that can definitely change our feelings towards it, our feelings towards discipline. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it to earn God's love, or are you doing it out of God's love?
Exactly. Like, we do these things because God already loves you, not because you're trying to get God to love you.
Exactly.
Like, you can't earn, like, you can't do it. Like, he's
you
already...
There's literally not you can never any amount of things you could do.
Like, good enough to earn God's love, because we're always going to mess up and we're always going to sin. You don't have to be good enough, though. Jesus is good enough. He's that bridge. And God has always, like, it's always so, and you know, I feel like you come to it every single time when you come back to God after being in a rut, or, you know, after maybe avoiding for a certain amount of time. I have never felt anything but peace and safety and love in that moment, because God is like, you know, I think of like the prodigal son, like, oh, you've returned, you know, and even if it might not be some great rebellion where you left and, you know, did all these crazy sinful behaviors and like left the church per se, but, you know, you just have been making a lot of excuses. Life has gotten busy, right? We all have those moments. And when we come back, God is waiting there with open arms. Right, because you cannot earn your way back. It just like you can't earn your way to heaven. It's not based on our works. It's based on the fact that God has already done the work, and he already loves you enough. And nothing that we, like, it's actually crazy and so self-centered to think that we are capable of changing God's opinion on us. Like, honey, no, you're not that powerful. Like, you don't have that ability. God's love changes us. Nothing that we can do can change God's love.
Exactly.
So, and it's not, you know, a free pass where you just, oh, well, I can live my life however I want, because then I don't think you have a full comprehension of God's love for you, right? And I think we've talked about that before. We're, like, not taking advantage of it. But again, we do things because of how much God loves us.
No, I definitely think we have talked about it, because I've used like the example, like, oh, if I gave you a gift, you know, like, it's a very minimal thing, especially compared to what Jesus has done for us, but you're probably just going to want to maybe, you know, we're friends, you know, like, you're just be like, oh, I'm going to be a little nicer to this person, like, thank you, like, whatever. But that's kind of what we're talking about, is Jesus gave this immense gift, the greatest gift that ever has been given.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can just be like, oh my gosh, God, like, thank you.
Thank you.
And we can just act like, oh
let
my
me,
gosh.
Yeah, let me try to live my life for you.
Because you love me more than I could ever comprehend or imagine or fathom.
Yeah.
And he really is our Father. And that's kind of just God looking out for us when he says, keep doing that discipline and be trained by it, because he knows what's best and he wants us to receive that peace. That's what I love. It's not doing it because he just wants to be a dictator. He's like, you don't even know the amount of peace that can come from this, the righteousness, like talking about the verse, like he knows what's best. And I think that is sometimes something we forget because we are so wrapped up in what we think and what we believe is better. But we just have to remind ourselves, like, God, we are not God.
Yeah. And it also goes right into what, like, Pastor Tim has been talking about for the last little bit of, like, when it comes to seeking God, wanting to be able to hear his voice, you will hear and know God's voice more when you spend more time with him in the Word.
So good.
Like, all of the benefits that come from seeking righteousness, seeking God, wanting to grow spiritually stronger, wanting to have greater discernment to his voice, to the Holy Spirit, that does not come just out of the blue, out of random. It comes from the discipline of spending time in God's presence and in God's Word. So good. So good. Hebrews, man.
I love
Hebrews. It. So it goes right in with our topic today, obviously, talking about the difference between motivation and discipline. Again, for me, I think of applying it more in a gym sense, because I feel like besides what we just talked about with church, the gym is where this conversation happens.
It's so prevalent.
A lot. It's very, very prevalent. It's obviously something near and dear to my heart. But before we really get into it, wanting to define what these words really mean.
Right.
So motivation, the definition of motivation is the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. So you want to do it. You are willing to do it. Discipline, however, there's like a couple different types, because discipline can be used in a different context. So one of them can be a system of rules of conduct. Right. So the disciplines of something, the rules of something, and it's also an activity or experience that provides mental or physical training. So both of those combined, I feel like, give a pretty good definition of what discipline is. So I wanted to start by talking about motivation and what it's used for, what it should be used for, and how it can be beneficial. And then on the flip side of that coin, when it should not be used or relied, right? Because, too much of anything can be bad, right? And sometimes not enough of something can be good or bad, depending on what it is. But so for motivation, like what the definition says, is that it's the desire to do something, right? Having motivation to do something is awesome. However, sometimes, what I would argue most of the time, it's not really within your control of when you are desiring to do something. Right? There's so many different factors in life. Like, even, like, before I get into the gym aspect of it, even think of, like, cleaning your house, right? There are some times where I am so motivated to clean. I'm just feeling good. I'm like, I want to clean. I'm going to put on some music and I'm going to get my space nice and organized, and it's going to smell good, and I'm going to feel so good. And then there are other times where I'm like, dude, I do not want to clean.
Right.
I don't want to do it. But you have to, or else unless you're going to live in a dump.
Yeah.
Right? So majority of the time, when we are not motivated to do something, you have to think of what the consequences are going to be if you don't do that thing. And then the consequences might be able to motivate you to do it, right? So if I don't clean my house, there's going to be garbage everywhere. It's going to smell bad. There's going to be dirt everywhere. It's going to be super unorganized and messy, and maybe you have people coming over soon or whatever it is that gets you off your butt to start vacuuming or whatever it is. In a gym context, a lot of people struggle with motivation. And the problem with it is that people are relying on that to get them in the gym and to start building their journey of fitness, to start their life around surrounding health, I guess I should say. And I guess the biggest issue that we see with motivation is how quickly it fades after the initial excitement of something, right? So most people, again, There are some people that never experience any motivation to go to the gym or to exercise or take care of their health, and therefore they never do it because they don't feel like it. It's not a desire to them. Every human being is different. However, there are some people where, you know what? Maybe you just read a self-help book.
Yeah.
Maybe
I saw a TikTok.
Oh,
She
saw
looked
a
so
TikTok. She looks so good. That I just bought a new workout set and I look so good in it. I just bought a new pair of running shoes. And I have been in this position where I literally go out to the store and buy a new workout set because it makes me motivated to work out. It gets that, it sparks it. Right? So maybe you saw TikTok, maybe you read a self-help book, maybe you watched a documentary, or, you know, you were watching the CrossFit Games and you're just like, wow, look at these amazing athletes doing their thing, you know? That always makes me feel motivated. Whatever it might be. Maybe, you know, you're listening to some music and it's like pumping you up and you're like, oh, yeah. You know, maybe one of your friends is a big gym person. They're posting on their story. They're talking about their workout and how great it was. And you're like, man, I want that. And you're feeling motivated. That's awesome. Sometimes that initial spark of motivation is what gets you in the gym, is what gets you started. Here's where the problem starts. After a week, that motivation fades. Now, for some people, it might last 2 weeks. Maybe it'll last you a month. Maybe it'll last you only a day. But it doesn't typically last very long. I don't think I've ever seen someone really motivated for, like, you know, to start their workout routine for longer than a month. I mean, like, that's a long time for motivation to last. It really is. Most of the time, it, like, fades after that initial first day, the first couple days, the first week, typically. And what happens is the reality of, man, this is hard. Wow, I'm not good at this right away. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel silly. I feel awkward. I don't have a plan. I am feeling unmotivated because I'm really sore and I don't, you know, I worked really hard, but I look in the mirror and I don't see a difference, right? I'm seeing the girls on TikTok or Instagram and I see them doing push-ups and pull-ups and everything. I can't even hang from a bar yet. Holding a plank is hard for me, right? So we start comparing. And we start seeing and feeling the weight of how difficult this really is, and we get unmotivated.
Right.
And then we stop going because you're looking at someone that has been doing this for 5 years.
We talked about this a lot in the last episode,
where you're looking at someone who's been doing this for so long and you're comparing it to your day one. And the problem is that there are not enough people on social media that record the first year of their fitness journey. They don't.
Like the beginning.
And the very, very beginning that no one wants to see, that no one feels good enough to post because you feel embarrassed. And I wish more people did, man. Even for me, I have some videos pretty early on, you know, and that I posted, but I didn't have like my first 6 months, and I really wish that I did, but I felt embarrassed because I couldn't do anything. I could not do a push-up on my knees. I couldn't do a ring row, let alone an actual pull. I couldn't hang from a bar. I couldn't do a single squat correctly with good form. It was terrible. I didn't want to post that. I didn't want to record myself doing that and embarrass myself.
That doesn't motivate you.
But I wish more people did, because then maybe we would see more people feel like, oh, they've been where I've been. And it's hard to even take that from someone who's already advanced so much more, and them like being like, oh, well, I started where you were, but they're like, yeah, but I don't want to be here right now. I want to be where you are. And so the comparison is a big issue. And the problem is that then people, they stop, they quit. You know, the amount of people that sign up for gym memberships in January, and then the amount of people that actually are continuing to go in February, there's a huge drop off.
It's insane.
I'm telling you, that motivation after that month, man. And, you know, that's another thing, is a lot of people can get motivated by setting new goals, new year, new me, which, I don't know if I talked about that. I didn't talk about that. And my top 10 hates, I hate New Year's resolutions. And I'll talk about it in this episode because it's really good. It flows in with it well. I hate them. Anyway, you know, so the problem with relying on motivation is that people rely on motivation to carry them the whole way through.
Right.
And the reality is that it won't. The reality is that the first month of being new to the gym and going to the gym sucks. It really, really does. It is so hard because you're brand new. Again, you feel awkward. You feel silly. You don't know what you're doing. You're very sore because it's a new stimulus on your body. and you're just looking at everyone around you that's already past that stage, and you're just like, man,
it's very discouraging.
It's very discouraging.
Yeah.
So then you quit, and then you wait until the next year, the new year. You wait until the next workout set. You wait until the next TikTok to then get motivated again, and then the cycle continues. And you're never going to advance past that stage because you're not staying consistent.
Yeah.
If there's any advice that I can give when it comes to the gym is that do not quit. Keep going. Even if you're only going 3 times a week, that's awesome. Don't stop. Because I promise you, even on the days where you're not feeling like you're making much progress, you are. Just by continuing to go and keep showing up. So once the motivation fades, this is when discipline has to enter the chat. Discipline has entered the room. Okay, and this is why, and I can't tell you the amount of times that I have talked to people and they're like, yeah, I wish I was motivated like you all the time.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of people that have told me that. And if you heard by my low tide, do you think I'm motivated all the time? That's a joke.
Yeah.
That's funny. You look at the pro athletes, and I'm thinking CrossFit. There's no way they're motivated all the time.
Yeah.
No human being is.
Yeah.
You go through ruts, man. Like, you're like, do you think? Okay, I'll tell you right now. My entire first year of teaching, not one day was I motivated to go to the gym. Not one day.
Yeah.
I was proud of myself for just showing up. And your goals in the gym are going to alter and change according to how life looks like.
Right.
And for any educator, the first year of teaching is always going to be the hardest.
Right.
And I remember one of our coaches at the gym, he's also an educator, and he told me, he was like, just know that your fitness is going to look different this year. He was like, just be proud of yourself for coming. That's all that you need to focus on, is just showing up. And I didn't really fully understand what he meant until like a month into teaching. And I was like, oh, wow. Because I was going to the gym after my school day. Yeah. So I would have like a really long day, really tough day. And then the last thing that I want to do after gym. Teaching all day is go to the gym and work out. Especially doing the kind of workouts that I'm doing. Right. High intensity, really pushing yourself. Now, on like the one side, I loved it because it was my hour for me, but I didn't actually want to go and work out. I just wanted to go home and lay on the couch and just sleep.
Yeah.
For real, I did not one day was I motivated to go, but I showed up every single day because I had the discipline to do it, because I knew that the consequences of me not going weigh out, the benefits of me not going.
Yeah.
Because there are literally like no benefits to me not going.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis. Obviously, you take your rest days and let your body recover. But, and ultimately it was like probably the best thing I could do for my mental health was to keep going, even if in the moment you don't want to.
Yeah.
Right? So what I tell, so people will either tell me that like, oh, I wish I was motivated like you all the time. Or, I'm just not motivated to go. My response to I'm not motivated to go is, okay, and? Yes, and? Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't wait until you're motivated, babe. You're not going to, because even if you wait to start until you're motivated, it's going to fade. And if you don't have the discipline to get your butt up and go anyway, you're never going to see results. You're never going to make any progress, and it's going to be discouraging.
Yeah.
But it's all on you.
Yeah.
And so here's my advice, because I know you're thinking, well,
what do I do about this?
What do I do?
What do I do?
What do I do?
Motivated.
I'm not motivated. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Womp womp. Sorry. That's the coach in me. I'm like, yeah, I'm going. Here's what I tell people. There's a couple of things that you can do to start. Maybe this will help get you motivated, and then start to build the discipline on that after. Number one is you have to make it a priority. You have to. I don't want to hear the excuse of I don't have the time. I hate that excuse. That should have been on my top 10 hate excuses. And you want to know why I'm allowed to hate them? Is because I used to be queen of excuses. I used to make, like I'm telling you guys, before I started CrossFit, I was a different person. I made every excuse in the book not to go to the gym. Every single one. I had chronic pain in my knees. I was tired. I was working. I didn't have the time. Name an excuse, I probably gave it. Probably did. I see female firefighters, mother of 2, go to the gym, show up, work out. I see people who work 2 jobs with kids show up to the gym. It's not that you don't have time, you're not making the time. And again, I always tell people, I'm like, you tell me you don't have enough time to go to the gym, let me look at your screen time on your phone. Oh, 7 hours a day on your phone?
Got him.
Got him there. Okay? Unless you're legitimately, like, you know, I mean, there's a few jobs that actually, like, maybe you legitimately do not have time. But for most people, you do have the time. So number one is that you have to just, like, bite the bullet and accept that you're not making it a priority. And this is what I tell people. My, me going to the gym does not, I am messing up the way I want to say this. My schedule, like, the gym comes first, and then I make my schedule around that. Same, like, gym and church, literally. Like, those are, like, I go to the gym, and then I make my schedule based around that. Other people do it the other way around, where they have their schedule set, and then they're trying to fit the gym in there. They're trying to fit the church in there, and then it's going to get squeezed out because they're not your priorities. Gym and church are like my foundations of my life, taking care of my health spiritually and physically.
Yeah.
You know, like gym, church, and therapy. Those are set in stone in my schedule. Everything else is around those.
Yeah.
So change the way that you're setting up your schedule.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be, like, some people think it's got to be 2-3 hours in the gym. No, 30 minutes. Yeah. Start with 30 minutes. There are so many home workouts on YouTube. Do we want to, like, end there? No, but you can start there. Right? There's so many things. Walking outside. Like, you know, where everyone is going to start might be different for them. But just getting active and moving every day is number one. Even if it's something as simple as walking. If you're not being active at all, just start by walking outside.
Yeah.
Okay? Wake up 20 minutes earlier. Go to bed 20 minutes later. Whatever. Find some time to get outside and to walk. And then you can do home workouts from home on YouTube. There are apps now that you can pay $15 a month, and they can make up a workout plan for you. Bro, AI will write a workout plan for you.
That's so true. You have
know
all
what
the
I mean?
resources.
You have in today's day and age, you have so many resources. Go to TJ Maxx and buy a yoga mat. Or buy, like, a 10-pound kettlebell for $10. Like, there are so many things you can do with a kettlebell. It's insane. Like, there's not really an excuse not to, okay? And then if we're talking about the gym, like, for example, CrossFit is 1 hour of your day. It is 2.4% of your day.
Yeah.
1 hour of your day.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it like that.
You have the time.
Yeah.
You just need to make it, okay? So that's number one, is your schedule and how you arrange your life. Number two is you need to find your why. This one might almost be more important than the first one. I tell people you will never be disciplined to go to the gym unless you have your foundational reason as why am I doing this? And it can't be something as superficial as, well, I want to look like that girl on Instagram. No, that's gonna fade, because I tell you what, you're not ever gonna look like her.
Yeah, that's fleeting.
You know why? Because you're not her. You're gonna look like the best version of yourself. But if you're going to compare yourself to someone else, you're never going to look like them. Ever. Because that's not who God made you to be. Okay? It can't be something shallow. It's got to be something deep. I tell you what, my why is because I want to be a mom who can play with her kids. I want to be a grandma one day that can get down on the floor and play with my kids. And I have seen it in my family and other people's family. Elderly people who take care of their health and those who don't. And the biggest difference is movement. The ones that stay stagnant, they don't get up, they don't move. Your body will stiffen. If your joints don't get used, they're not going to move, right? Versus I see people 70 years old in my gym doing pull-ups, doing jump rope, okay? And their quality of life is higher. I want to be the type of grandparent where I can get up and off the toilet on my own. I want to be the kind of grandparent that can go up and down stairs. I want to be the kind of grandparent where if I fall, I can get myself up. Quality and longevity of life is my why. I feel like overall health should be almost everybody's why. You know, I don't want to be that person that I can't move. And I'm watching my family play around me and I can't participate. And sometimes some things happen that are out of your control, but I'm going to do everything within my control to avoid that from happening.
Right.
That's my why. Also, and the fact that I'm finally taking care of myself, because for a long time I didn't, and I did everything out of self-hatred. And now it's coming from a place of self-love because I want to take care of the body that God has given me, right? So you need to find your why, and it's got to be deeper than superficial what you look like on the outside. Because here's the thing, maybe that'll keep you motivated until you're 30, 40 years old. Everyone's going to age, though. It says even in scripture that beauty, outside beauty, is fleeting. You're going to wake up one day an old person with wrinkles and excess skin, and you're not going to look good anymore. look good, quote unquote, you know, compared to your 20-year-old self. So what happens then?
Right.
What happens then when what motivated you for so long doesn't apply anymore?
It's gone. Yeah.
Because there's nothing you can do to prevent aging.
Yeah.
And no matter how many creams and surgery, whatever you get, we're all gonna not look like our younger selves at one point. So that cannot be what motivates you. Health, though, there's no end game. Until the day you die, health has to be a priority, right? And when you look up, do the research on the difference between elderly people that exercise regularly and those who don't. Bone density. That elderly people who work out consistently have stronger bones, so they don't have to deal with, you know, their pelvis breaking, their wrist breaking, their ankles breaking because of something small happening. The quality of life is so much higher. That is the ultimate motivator for me. Yeah. And I want to be a mom that can be an inspiration to her kids and that can play and be active with her kids. I'm not going to be sitting on the sidelines.
It's so good, yeah.
You know, so that's my why. That can apply to just about anybody. Even if you don't want to have kids, your quality of life is when you get older. You know, what do you want your life to look like? And it starts now. Don't wait. Yeah. It starts now. Yeah. And I think a lot of people when they're younger, that you take advantage of the natural health that you have because of your age. And then people turn 40 and they're like, oh, I don't move as well as I used to, because you weren't moving back then. Yeah. You have the ability to start now. And listen, if you're hearing this and you're already an older adult, don't think, oh, it's too late for me. It is never too late. Start moving. Go outside and take a walk. Start taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator. Start doing things, little things every single day. Your body will thank you for it. If you are young, take the advantage of the time that you have and start now. If you're not that young, start now anyway. You can. It is never too late to take care of your health. Yeah. Movement is medicine. Do not ever forget that. So you have to have your why, in order to do that. So your schedule, you need to know what your why is. And again, like looking at the consequences of not having that in your life. And the thing is that you can decide to be the person that doesn't do anything about it and still complains. Or instead of sitting and complaining about, well, I don't look the way that I want to. I can't do these movements that I don't want to. I don't feel that good. Do something about it. Yeah. Don't be the person that complains and then when you're given the solution, oh, well, I don't want to. Then don't complain. You don't get to complain if you're not going to do anything about it. And you have so much resources available to you now in the day and age that we live in. So many resources. If it means, you know, well, actually, this goes into my third reason of how to get disciplined, is you need to find the type of movement that you enjoy. You do have to enjoy it at some level. Yeah. It doesn't mean you're going to enjoy it every single day. But here's the thing. I am someone now at this point that I'm in where I am educated and I do have the ability to go to a regular Globo gym. However, sorry, I was checking in the computer for a second because it looked like it froze. I know what I'm doing. However, I don't enjoy those type of workouts. I just don't. I enjoy CrossFit. I love the community. I love those type of workouts. That is what I enjoy. For some people, it could be Pilates and yoga. For some people, it could be home workouts, Orange Theory. It could, whatever it is. Now, the only exception is I do think every single person should be lifting weights of some way, shape, and form. It doesn't have to be like, Olympic lifting and crazy heavy, but I do think everyone should lift weights because of, again, the science behind that and the benefits that it has on your body. Yeah. But you need to find a way to do it in a way that you enjoy. Yeah. Maybe for some people, it's going alone with your headphones in. You can just be by yourself, have that you time. For other people, they need the community or the coach to help them feel more motivated or to push them to go, whatever it is. Find movement that you enjoy.
That works, yeah.
If you hate it, you're not ever going to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like if I were to quit CrossFit, I could go into a regular gym and I could do it. But I'll tell you right now, I won't be as consistent because it's just boring. It's boring to me. I just don't like it. Now I'm hoping that maybe I'd be disciplined enough to keep going. But I love CrossFit.
Right.
It's my favorite thing in the world. And so, and I love it. And so people, like, they force themselves, man, to do something that they, like, if you hate running, then why are you forcing it? You don't need to run.
Yeah.
Okay? Walk and then, like, find a type of cardio that you do, like maybe like rowing or biking or swimming, right? Or doing like a high intensity workout more. If you hate running, like, then like don't maybe force yourself to do that right out of the gate, trying to run 3 miles a day if you absolutely hate it. I hate running.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I hate it. I would rather, and running is not the only form of cardio that exists. And there's actually other forms of cardio that are much less impactful and harmful to your body, because it just can be so tough on your joints running. Like swimming is great cardio, biking, rowing, all those things are amazing. Walking has so many benefits. Walking almost has the same amount of benefits as running without the amount of impact on your body.
Yeah.
You know, if you do it like at a decent walking pace, right? So the point being is just to find something that you actually can enjoy.
Yeah.
Does it mean you're going to absolutely love it every single day? No, but at the core of it, you enjoy it.
Right.
I don't love every single CrossFit workout, but at the end of the day, I love CrossFit.
Right.
You know, and that does help keep me going. So find your why, rearrange your priorities on your schedule, and find a type of movement that you enjoy. I'm telling you right then and there,
bang, bang.
it will change your life. It will change your life.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, there's not a secret pill that you can take that's going to make you all of a sudden be disciplined and start applying it more than motivation. It's going to suck. David Goggins embraced the suck. It's going to be hard. That alarm's gonna go off. You're not want to get up. Guess what? You need to get up and do it anyway. And I'll tell you right now, the days where your discipline is built the most are the days where you force yourself to go even when you don't want to. When you start doing that, even if you only do that one time, watch your mind change. Okay? When you make yourself go to the gym on a day where you don't feel like it, and then you end up those are typically the days where I honestly end up having the best workouts.
Right.
Not every time, but a lot of the times where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Ugh, I'm not feeling like it. Ugh, I don't want to go. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Womp womp. Okay, and I force myself to go anyway, and I end up feeling good. Immediately, my brain is like, wow, that was worth it. And so when that happens again, you will know that it's worth it to go.
It's that training, yeah.
You have to train your mind. And it's not going to be easy, I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We talked about this before. Our society, we live in instant gratification. Let me tell you something right now. You're going to be inconsistent in the gym. You are not going to see results in the first week. You're just not. You're not going to see results in the first 2 weeks. Okay? By the first 3 weeks, depending on how often you're going and what you're doing, you might start seeing progress in the actual gym itself, right? So maybe you could only do a bicep curl with 5 pounds and now you can do 7 pounds, right? And those numbers start going up, or your ability to do movements. Maybe you're feeling better. Like sometimes some people, you only take what you see in the mirror as progress. Yeah. What you look like in the mirror should be the last form of progress that you look at. The first type of progress you should be look at is how you're moving. If that 5 pounds was really hard to do and 2 weeks later it's feeling easier, that's progress.
Yeah.
Your body's moving it better. If your form has improved on your squats, that's progress. Even if the weight hasn't gone up but your form has improved, take that win, baby. Take that win. And then, of course, if the weight is going up, take that win. That is progress.
Yeah.
If you're able to only do 1 pull-up and now you can do 2, take that win. That's awesome. That's progress. To start seeing physical changes in your body, babe, give it 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And what I'll tell people is from the start taking progress photos if aesthetics are a part of your goals, which is fine if it is. Start taking progress photos and then put them in the hidden folder on your phone. Don't obsess over it. Don't look at it. Take good. Progress photos like every month, every week, whatever. By the end of the first year, you will see changes. And it's hard to because we see ourselves every day. So that's why we get unmotivated because we're like, you don't see the little changes that are happening. So my advice to you is to focus on the numbers in the gym. Focus on the movements that you're able to do. Focus on how you're moving in the gym. Don't even focus on what you look like. Take your progress photos, put them in your hidden folder. After a year, go back and see the changes because you will see them.
Right.
You just can't see them with the naked eye when you're looking at yourself every single day. But you can focus on the numbers in the gym, those things going up.
Right.
And that's been, especially for women, that is so huge.
Right.
Like when I had a female coach and she told me, she said, don't even focus on your body and the changes that are happening. She was like, your body is changing. You're just not seeing it. She was like, so just focus on the weight that's on that bar. Focus on the movements that you weren't able to do before. That will help you maintain motivation too, because you're able to see that there is a difference that's happening. Because if you only go based off of what you look like, you're going to get so discouraged because you're not going to be able to see it right away.
Yeah.
And I hate to tell you, but there's no fast way to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's going to take months to build that schedule and to build that discipline. And it's going to take a while to train your brain.
Right.
but your why is what keeps you going.
That's good.
Even when you don't see the progress with it.
That is so good. Yeah. And then I want to end quickly with the New Year, New Me thing. Because I think something I struggled with. But when I struggle with it a lot is like, I'll listen to something like this and you get that motivation.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, okay, I'll do it after this date or after like a milestone or a mark. Like,
I'll start on Monday.
Exactly. I'll start on Monday is huge. Or like, I'll start after this trip. I do that a lot. Or after I do this one thing.
Yes.
And then I get there and I'm like, you keep pushing it out. I found myself doing it. So I want to hear all the things that you have to say.
So the reason I hate the resolutions is for that reason.
Right.
And even the mindset of, I'm going to wait till Monday. I've gone on to my friends about that before. if you need an accountability person, I'm your girl. Even if you don't know me and you just get on Instagram and I'll tell you, be like, get your butt to the gym. Wait, what excuse do you have? Are you injured? Are you physically ill? Are you on your deathbed? No? Okay, go to the gym.
Then get to it.
you need to go. It'll be good for you. You'll get better. So the problem with the resolutions is, again, like, and what I hate about it is, again, with my why being ultimate health, and I think even if that might not be your main why, I think that should be a part of everybody's why is health. That's why we do this.
Right.
Again, because if your motivation is set in aesthetics and how you look, at one point that is going to no longer apply. It is fleeting. So your why has to be attached to your health and quality of life and feeling good in your skin. So important. Okay? There is no end date to that. There's no end date to health. There's no destination, right? We can always be healthier. We can always be a better version of ourselves in some way, shape, or form. And the problem is that while I think setting goals for yourself are awesome, waiting until the new year, all you're doing is wasting time. What does that do for you? What does waiting until the new year do?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just another Monday. I honestly don't care about the new year. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. New Year's is my least favorite holiday. When I wake up on January 1st, okay, another day.
Yeah.
Going off to training. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's a Saturday. Okay, and you're like, let me not start today. It's the weekend. Let me start on Monday. Why?
That's different.
It's literally just another day. Start today. If you're listening to, start today.
Yeah.
Okay? Set the alarm to go to the gym tomorrow morning. Whatever. Start now.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait to put it off. You know what that is? That's anxiety, and you're avoiding it by putting it off. And thinking that, when it's January 1st, it's going to be different this time. No, it's not. No, it's not.
There's
that
Monday,
about the day, whatever the day lands on for January 1st, is going to feel the same as it did the day before when it was 2023 to coming into 2024. January 1st of 2025 is not, there's nothing special about that new year that's going to make you continue going to the gym. Okay? Start now. Imagine, okay, if this helps you, imagine if you started now where you'll be a year from now.
Yeah.
Imagine if you started today. Okay? Don't wait. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It's the same. It's just another day. Conspiracy theorists, the way that we set up our weeks and our year, like, it's a concept. Like, every day the sun comes up and the sun sets the same. Okay, the date that's on the calendar is something that we did to help us keep track of that time passing. But the day is not actually different. Just start now. It's Wednesday as we're recording this. Start right now, or the Monday that you're listening to this, whenever you're listening to this, start today. The next day that it comes or whatever, you're going to keep pushing it off. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Ooh, this is another big one. I don't care if it's the holidays and it's Christmas. Oh, you're not eating very well. You're eating extra Christmas cookies? Good, girl. You got extra carbs. You have more energy now to go to the gym. What? You're fueling even more. What? It's Thanksgiving? Girl, use that turkey. Put it to work. Like, come on. You're eating so much more. You have so much more fuel to go to the gym.
That's so funny. I love that mindset.
Like, you're about to go on a trip? Cool. Go now. Start now. Who cares if you're only going to be able to work out for one day and then you're going to go on the trip and then you're going to come back? You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait. Because you know what? Maybe you can start on that day and that's going to make you even, like, keep it going when you come back from that trip. And who says just because you go on a trip that you can't be active? I'm not saying that you have to go to the gym and focus on all those things. Enjoy your vacation. But maybe it'll make you be like, you know what? Let's go outside and go for a walk.
Right.
Let's, like... And going on a walk can also be very meditative and mindful. Going out, leave your phone, okay? Go out and enjoy being in nature. You can pray to God while you're walking. Have a conversation. It can be quality time with a loved one when you're going on a walk. Okay, so you're feeding yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, all at the same time. Okay? It doesn't matter what point you're at in life. Start now. Because I'm telling you, your future self will thank you for it. Instead of waiting, we're in July. So instead of waiting 5 months to start in the new year to get that gym membership, sign up now. This is your sign. Sign up now. Start now. Because imagine how far you'll be if you're consistent in 5 months. You can make a lot of progress in 5 months.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Imagine where you'll be instead of starting from zero again on January 1st.
Right.
There is no new year, new you. You're not different. Okay? You're not special. The new year's not special. You're the same.
Yeah.
Go. Make your future self proud.
Oh.
Make your young self proud. Make your unhealthy self proud. And you want to know, in this realm of self-love and everything, you really love yourself, take care of yourself. Self-love is not just merely accepting where you're at and doing nothing about it. Self-love is loving yourself no matter where you're at, but also loving yourself enough to push yourself out of your comfort zone and do what's best for you. And doing best for everybody is taking care of your health, regardless of what that looks like.
Am I feeling motivated? Not gonna let it, define me.
I want people to feel motivated.
No, yeah.
Because I want this to maybe be that initial spark. Again, motivation is a great thing.
Right.
And again, for someone who works out consistently, whether or not I'm motivated, I love when I'm feeling motivated. Because use it as fuel to push yourself even more.
Right. Let it be that push.
Like if you're already consistent and disciplined, and then when I'm feeling motivated, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to push myself even more. I'm going to put more weight on that bar. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna push myself even more. Regardless, though, I'm still going.
But it was built on that discipline.
Exactly. Use the motivation as like that extra push to push yourself even more, but not just to keep you going, right? Like think of it as like extra momentum. Like I think in like Fast and Furious, what is it? Hit the NOS. Is it like the CO2?
I've never seen those movies. I have
The nitrogen that like makes the cars like really go faster, but they're already driving. The car's still moving, and then they push that button and they go even faster.
Yeah.
But it eventually slows back down, but the car still moves. Think of that as your motivation. It's hitting the NOS. Okay? But the car needs to be moving already.
Right.
That's the discipline.
Right.
Okay? Your foot on that pedal, keeping the engine going, is the discipline, and the car's not going to run if you don't fuel it properly either. Hello. All right. So if your body is a Lamborghini, you can't be putting regular fuel in there. You need premium. So make sure you're fueling yourself properly. The discipline is what keeps the car going.
That's good.
The motivation is that hitting the NOS to push you a little bit harder, but when it fades and it runs out, that car is still running on the discipline.
Love it.
Based on how well you fuel yourself too.
I love it.
And not just with food, but mentally and spiritually as well. I'm telling you, like taking care of our bodies in the gym and all that is very spiritual.
So good.
Your body is a temple. It tells us that. This is the one body that God has given us to do. And if we're going to do what God has told us to do, and we're going to do it well, then like you have to take care of yourself. You want to be good at ministry, take care of your health.
It's so good.
You can't do anything if your health is number one. And I tell you right now, I know we're running over, but no one prioritizes their health until your health forces you. Don't wait until you're in a freaking hospital or, something happens where now your health is forcing you to take care of it and to make it a priority. Make it a priority now before your body makes you. Because I promise you, no matter how expensive you think eating healthy is, no matter how expensive you think a gym membership is, try being sick and tell me how expensive that is.
Right.
Being healthy will always be less expensive than being sick. And again, not talking about the situations that are out of our control, but with so many things going against us, so many ways that we can get sick or be ill or be lazy and, like all of these things, do what is in your power and control to make your body and your mind as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
Because we already have so much going against us. It's already hard to be as healthy as it is, especially in America. Okay? Do what you can to take care of the temple that God gave you. It's spiritual. So I'm motivated. I want to go work out again.
let's go to the gym right now. Screw podcasting. No, I love it.
All right, guys. I hope you have a good day. I hope you feel motivated.
Yeah.
Start today. Start now. Love yourself enough to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Come on.
And if you need more motivation, listen to David Goggins. Search up David Goggins. I promise you, you'll feel motivated, and he'll yell at you. So if that's what gets you going, that's what you need. I love it when people yell at me. I'm like, okay, you're right.
Let's go.
Other people are like, you're doing great, and like that's fine. But I need people to be like, you suck, keep going, and I'm like, you're right, I do suck. So then
That's so funny.
whatever you need. David Goggins is a real one though. So
I love it. All right.
Happy Motivation Monday.
Happy Motivation Monday. Bye guys.